It's okay if you don't know anything because eventually you'll learn, and just see what you're already doing in your current life and how you can brag about it, because at the end of the day, you're going to be your biggest supporter.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the OSE Podcast. This is episode 4, season 4. Today, we're going to be talking about keeping up with tech. So all the different technology, social media platforms, etc., that are available to us as students, things that we can use to keep propelling our career forward and exploring more about our passions and aspirations. As always, my name is Ethan Rohm. I'm the graduate student assistant for OSE, and I'm joined by one of our student ambassadors. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Bwakali. I'm one of the online student ambassadors. I'm a senior now. I'm a rising senior.
Congrats.
I graduate fall of 26, and my major is marketing. So yeah.
Awesome. But could you kind of explain a little bit about your role at OSE, as well as just some of your leadership things that you're involved in on campus?
So at OSE, I'm the online student ambassador. There's 2 of us. So I'm one of the students that host different events. We have mentees. So I give advice to any people in our mentee program when it comes to just life as a student or work, and just anything really. So yeah, host different events, make different content for you guys. And yeah, and then on campus, I'm actually vice president of the Black Business Student Association. So that's one of my roles that I really love. I just love creating a space for other business students at UNT, and also just give information to all students at UNT about how they can prepare themselves for the future business world. Actually,
yeah, Casey is all over campus, stepping up in many different ways. Kind of getting into the topic at hand, tech and major and things like that. Could you kind of explain a little bit as a marketing student how tech kind of influences the marketing field?
So yeah, actually with marketing, I feel like one of the reasons I chose is because it's a very fast-paced moving field. So in the past, obviously when tech wasn't as big, marketing would be things like billboards and such. But now as social media and tech is a big rising thing, I feel like tech plays a big part of it, because it's the fastest way to keep updated when it comes to different trends, different ways people you can market to different audiences and what people are interested in. So when it comes to tech, I feel like it's a big part of it, because it kind of is just the base place where you can get most of your information about consumers. So yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's definitely really fast and always evolving. I feel like it's so quick with things now, with trends and stuff like that. Things come really quickly and then they die out.
Yeah, very quickly.
Yeah. As a student, how are you using tech and different online platforms?
So as a student, I would say I use it obviously when it just comes to homework, when it comes to research. That's just the basic thing. But specifically as a marketing major, I use it to, I'll say for my brand marketing class, just seeing what different brands are doing on social media, what different brands are doing, just even on just Safari, just everything, the way brands choose to market themselves and such. So I use tech when it comes to that, and then I also just use tech to keep updated with school, like UNT, what UNT's doing, what the different departments are doing, what different orgs are doing. So yeah, I'll just say for base, just keeping updated with what's going on in the UNT world and just world in general, especially marketing.
Able to draw a lot of different inspiration from the world around you and kind of use that towards furthering your own goals and kind of exploring things as a student. And what would you say your favorite online tech platform is to use in some of your current roles on the campus?
I would say it's very basic, but at the end of the day, I love Canva so much. I feel like Canva is a great place for beginners and for people who are farther in their career and just doing things tech wise. So yeah, I'll just have to say Canva, because I feel like have to give them its flowers.
Fair enough. Yeah, we definitely use Canva a lot here at OSE. Canva's your favorite. What would you say has been maybe your least favorite, or maybe a tech platform that you kind of struggled a little bit more? What's something that's maybe been difficult that you feel like that you've kind of been able to kind of navigate?
I would say when because I make videos just for myself as well, and I just genuinely like learning different platforms. And then also in one of my past roles, I had to edit a video, and it was Filmora. Filmora is like a video editing platform. It's used for videos. It's like you could pay a subscription. It's like one of the more complex ones. Like you can only use it on a desktop, really.
Okay.
I think they have a mobile app now, but yeah, Filmora, it was definitely harder for me to get into because like I just had to learn more. But I'm very glad now I can use it, and I love Filmora generally. I feel like it has a lot of things for it has a lot of things to make your videos great. So yeah,
Gotcha.
I love it.
Yeah, that's really cool. And speaking of video editing, Canva also something that's available to everybody as students is Canva Video Editor. They also do video editing. I've been at myself kind of exploring that a little bit more, along with like things like Adobe Premiere. But I'll have to check out Film more. So kind of going into our next question, something interesting that I got to kind of observe that you had created was your own like brand portfolio. Could you tell the audience a little bit about that and kind of what kind of tech you were kind of using design and like yeah, give us kind of the spiel about that.
So yeah, when I started wanting to apply for internships and such, I was just looking at the other things that different marketing majors, business majors, or just tech majors in general had, and they all had portfolios. And I was like, I always want to advance, like have a competitive advantage. So I was like, I should probably get on that. So it took me a while to create my portfolio. I use Canva for it, and Canva has a lot of different templates and such. But for me, like I don't want a recruiter to see mine and then see someone else's and just it's the same one. So I actually created my own template. Took a couple months just adding new information, deciding how I wanted to look. And yeah, and so I have that
You
one.
put a lot of detail into it over time.
So yeah, I have that one, and then also different positions. If I apply to them, sometimes I'll make a specific one, just using the kind of the same outline of my own, but like just making it most brand specific. So yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. And what I thought was kind of cool about yours was that it was like an online like website that you could like link to. So you could put that as like a website link when you're like applying to jobs and things like that. How did you build that out?
So Canva, they have a website section, and you can have it go different ways. I chose the one that you scroll up. So yeah, I really like Canva for it because they let you create your own link, and then if you make more, you can just add the extra words at the end. I was choosing first between just like a PowerPoint, but I chose website because like it's again like you say, it's a link that you can send to anyone really.
Yeah, it makes it really easy to transfer to different like jobs and things like that. So going kind of into our next question, how did you kind of learn how to use some of the tech that you have been using?
For me, when it comes to like video editing, just that type of editing, I've always been interested in it, especially being young on YouTube. Like I always see stuff.
Yeah.
So I always wanted to just learn more and more. And then once I got into high school, I got more into graphic design, digital editing, because I was a part of my student council where I did marketing for it. And that's when I learned about Canva and different apps like Fonto and just different apps. So I would say just over time, when it comes to just my personal endeavors, whether it's posting videos on my Instagram or on TikTok, just learning different mobile apps and video editing apps, and then also as I just get more positions at high school and now in college, like for OSE and BBSA and her campus, because I was part of her campus, just learning more about the graphic design aspect using Canva and some different apps. So yeah.
In terms of like things that you've learned on the job, what kind of things have you found are like important in terms of like making like a good like advertisement or things like that?
I will say when it comes to just creating an advertisement, what I find most important is making sure it's eye-catching, making sure it's appealing to the eye. So whether it's adding like texture to the background, whether it's making sure the fonts are cohesive, making sure that when you look at it, it's something that you know that you'd want to go to, if that makes sense, or you would want to attend the event or anything. So yeah, and or just asking people around you, oh, is this something you would like to go? So just refreshing your mind, and also not looking too long at the flyers that you make and such, because for me, I know I'll spend hours making something. By the end of it, I'm like, I don't like it, but you just have to sometimes take a break and come back to it. So yeah.
sometimes just kind of like risk it and put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely feel like it's really easy to like overthink things and like get kind of like almost like imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
it's the same thing with like even like assignments and things like that. You're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
like this paper's like not very good. Same thing with like I guess videos and like photos and things like that you're
Mm-hmm.
putting out. What would you say is kind of like your main inspiration for putting things out, especially maybe like in some of your other roles?
Definitely looking at the things that I wish I had access to. So kind of like my role with BBSA, one of the things our goals for social media is to be able to post internship opportunities on the social media accounts. So just things that I wish I had access to. I wish I had that information. Or just like same with my personal accounts, like I'll post different video advice videos on my TikTok about school. Just so I feel my main inspiration is like when I was in different positions, I like when I was a freshman, what would I like to see on campus? Or what would I like to see posted to help me? So yeah.
Yeah. So you see yourself as almost sort of like doing like a little bit of like leadership, like outreach through your own social media, kind of giving advice to like almost to your younger self a little bit.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. We talked a little bit earlier about like how you're able to use like things like your portfolio, for instance, to kind of branch out and reach out to new jobs. But how would you kind of say that online tech has helped you explore new opportunities and grow professionally?
Definitely just being online literate, if that's the word.
Literate? What would you describe as being online literate?
I feel like being online literate is just having a good understanding of how you can use online for your own benefit. So, and where you can get good, valid information. So, for me, I'll say as I've grown more my online literacy, being able to know different websites like LinkedIn, like I've spent a lot of time, especially last semester, learning more about how LinkedIn can help me. It just helps me get new knowledge on how I can help myself, how I can better prepare myself. So yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, it definitely helps to be able to like stand out on things like LinkedIn and Handshake. It's kind of scary just like putting out all your information and like all like putting kind of like your whole personality out there onto those websites. But that's really how like employers like at least try to like get like a feel for who you are. And the more that you're able to kind of like personalize and differentiate yourself, the more they're able to get a feel for like who you are. So going into the next question, what would you say are some of your goals for working post grad, and how do you want to use your knowledge and the experiences that you've kind of made so far to achieve those goals?
I'll say my biggest goals post grad is to I want to work for a company where I can help better their marketing department. So whether it's a big company or even a small like local company, I'd like to help them use my knowledge on just marketing analytics that I've gained from like school and my own personal experience of just what I can see people enjoy when it comes to marketing, and help them bring more customers, bring more clients and such. So that's my biggest goal. But also I'd like, even as I go older, to help other people better their own careers when it comes to marketing and just online presence as a whole. Because as you said, like being on things like LinkedIn and Handshake and being very public about what you're doing, it can be very intimidating. But at the end of the day, like I want to help everyone be comfortable enough to build their own competitive advantage as high as it can be. So if it is like motivating someone to be more comfortable with things like LinkedIn, or just even posting on their social medias about what they're doing in their professional careers, I feel like that would be very fulfilling for me. So yeah, just helping others when it comes to online literacy.
Like kind of giving them like the motivation to like make those kind of initial steps. Because yeah, it definitely is like kind of you're starting from like kind of nothing, and sometimes it can be really intimidating to make that first post or make that first update or whatever. But like having kind of like the guidance to be like, oh, like this is what you should do, and you know, would actually be like a good thing, and kind of having that structure can help.
Especially in like a field like marketing, I feel like people get very overwhelmed about how it can be saturated or just very competitive. But yeah, just helping others understand like it's okay if you're coming from ground zero, because at the end of the day, eventually you're gonna have to build yourself up. So
yeah, eventually you'll build up the momentum to be kind of very grounded in the grounded in that kind of field. Going along with that, is there any advice you would give to somebody who's wanting to kind of start experimenting with online tech, especially like as a student, things that they can kind of start doing, you know, maybe as a junior or a sophomore or freshman, that kind of helps them develop their personal brand?
If you wanted to dabble into online tech and such, definitely first just ground yourself, remind yourself that it's okay if you don't know anything, because eventually you'll learn. And just see what you're already doing in your current life and how you can brag about it, because at the end of the day, you're going to be your biggest supporter. So when it comes to things like creating a LinkedIn account or creating, even just when it comes to creating a resume, a lot of my friends say, oh, I don't do anything, I don't know what to put. Just finding out what you can show already in your personal life, and then going out and looking for more opportunities, more things you can apply to, and starting small, definitely. So whether it's starting on this campus opportunities, getting experience on campus, and then building yourself up, just don't be scared to start small, I'll say. So yeah, because at the end of the day, growing in a small area, like growing in a student organization, can be so much, can look great to recruiters when it comes to choosing clients. When it comes to learning more about how to use different online tools such as Canva or Filmora, I'll say just start by editing small things, even if it's just a photo of yourself, or even if it's just a small video of you doing your makeup or something, or just getting ready, or a day in my life, just small things, and then eventually you can apply to bigger projects when it comes to school and work.
Being able to get yourself into it by doing kind of those smaller things can definitely make it a lot less anxiety inducing. Lastly, like, what are some tools that you would recommend students can access, like maybe through like their UNT credentials or things like that, or just like kind of free products?
I'll say obviously Canva. Like I've said, I love Canva. Just dabbling into that, and then when it comes to UNT, I'm pretty sure. Do we have stuff for Adobe?
Yeah, you can get an Adobe subscription. It's it's not quite included, but you can get like a student discount.
Okay.
And certain offices on campus offer it depending on like where you're working. So like potentially if you get a role in like a marketing department on campus or something like that, that may be something that's available to you.
So yeah, definitely just looking on campus for different opportunities, discounts, anything when it comes to subscription. But yeah, don't be afraid to start just on the free things like Canva, or I like CapCut even on my phone, or InShot, or even just editing videos on TikTok. So yeah, I'll say just starting small, and then going and finding more research about different things, different platforms you can use as well.
Well, thank you so much for that. That was very insightful, and I really appreciate you sharing your knowledge to everybody. For those who are not familiar, where can everybody keep up with us at OSE?
So you can keep up with OSE on our Instagram, OSE.UNT, and in our Discord, the Online Student Experience at UNT. So yeah.
Gotcha. And you can definitely see kind of some of the marketing work that Casey, as well as our other student ambassador, Hannah, have been working on. Maybe draw some inspiration from that. With that being said, that kind of wraps up our episode. So we will see you next time for episode 5. And as always, go mean green.
Going green.